Hi everyone, Annie here with the Just One Thing series that we started a while back. I try to only share things that I feel create aha moments for everyone. So we haven't had many videos in that series. Feel free to go to my parenting portal page. I'll leave a link there where we have a number of other videos that might inspire you and spur you to action. We specifically deal with ideas on parenting and in particular the effects of the wireless dangers, both from a perspective of what we're wearing. You can see here I have my EMF locket. If you turn it underneath, you can see that the magic is in the particular protective device, but it's disguised in a beautiful, let me get a close-up of that, in a beautiful heart locket. And at our site, we have, I'll come back now. At our site, we have quite a number of different necklaces. Some are dog tags for men or boys. My son loves his dog tag. But not only do we discuss products, we also talk about the affectation of social media on our lives and our kids' lives, okay? And as some of you might know, not only do I consult for health and wellness and CBD or hemp oil, as well as EMF protection and ionized water, amongst the many things that I advocate for, but I'm also involved in neuroeducation. So today's video, whoever's joining us, I'd love for you to hop on and comment below where you are and how hot it is. I can't believe how it's changed literally, as it usually does. It literally has gone from the 50s to the 80s, but I'm not complaining. It's magnificent, and our bodies have been waiting and craving the sunshine and the outdoor activity. So I hope all of you are getting out there, okay? Getting back to what I was saying, I work with parents and students and family and friends through neuroscience. So what does that mean? I live a life as well as teach through a brain-based perspective, okay? So today what I want to share with you is you're not crazy, okay? You're not crazy. Your child is not crazy. We are all directly affected by social media. Technology in general, but social media specifically. So what we need to do is understand why something's happening to us before we can address the how. So when I'm working with my teachers, I'm looking at how students learn. How can we reach other people? Hello, Brittany. Thank you for joining us. Please drop us a little love. And as I was just saying before we welcomed Brittany and some other people to come with us along on this small journey, today's specific message is what the hell is happening in our brains? Because believe it or not, science is so black and white and so definitive that it's already been proven what happens in a child's brain as well as in an adult's brain when they have their mobile device, in particular the iPhone or the smartphone. So I want to address just for a moment that there's something happening in all of us, especially as adults, and believe it or not, we're more addicted than our children are, okay? So yes, we see overtly what's happening to our kids. They're recalcitrant. They're angry, they're withdrawn, they're passionless, they're self-medicating by using this phone. Let's talk about what is actually happening in the brain as a result of this constant bombardment 24/7 of social media. So what's actually happening is this. There is a flood of cortisol, which are stressors, stress levels, endorphins, the highs that you get when somebody likes one of your posts. And by the way, could you drop a like right down there? That would be great, because I get a high from that too. But seriously, when our brain is flooded and in a constant state of these hormones and levels, we are in a state of flight or fight. All right? So, if you're in a state of fight, that's no good, because you're combative, you're aggressive, you want to end up, in terms of your child, which is what we're talking about, you want to end up railing against the machine, against the administration, against the school, against your child's teacher. Or you're in a state of flight. So a lot of parents I work with just have shut down. They've run away. They're in a state of flight. So I'm here to tell you, I'm going to lean in really close, okay? Look at me. It is not you. It is the result of the circumstances. So, that being said, once we know what is happening in our brain, then we can understand why we are behaving the way we are behaving. So how does this translate to parenting and adulting, which is where we really want to be? I'll tell you. Years ago, and I'm 50, so please drop a thumbs up or, oh yeah, if you're around my age and you remember that your parents weren't that involved. I know, as my own self, I can't believe, not only am I a helicopter mom, I'm symbiotic. I'm practically up his you-know-what. My parents were not. And yet, somehow, I developed, I grew, and I became a productive member of society. So what's the common factor? Because as neuroscientists, we go back and see what is the connective thread. So the connective thread is this. We all have emotions, and many of us at different times of the day have a lot of negative emotions. I don't even want to use the word negative, because that connotes that it's bad or wrong. And we all know when something is bad or wrong, what do we have to do? Can you answer there? And if you're watching in the replay, just write in the comment. What do you do when something is bad or negative? That's right. You try to fix it. That's not what we want. Let's think back to when we were kids. We don't want to fix anger. We don't want to fix frustration, disappointment, upset, rejection. What we want to do is we want to address it, acknowledge the feelings, and then find ways constructively, provide tools that will enable our children to move in a healthy direction through the emotion, not around it, not beat against it. See, I'm punching my fist, right? but rather through. In another video, we'll address some specific tools to move through a negative emotion. But for now, let's understand what's happening with us as parents. So let's go back to our childhood. We experienced all of the things that human beings, and especially little human beings, and it doesn't matter whether they're 2 or 22 or fall within that range. They're always going to be experiencing uncomfortable situations. I put this into quotes because, again, I don't want to connote negativity. It's okay. That's the mantra we need. It's okay. But if we go back to what was happening in regards to our brain, the flight or fight, our reactions to our children's uncomfortableness, negative emotions, upsets are not appropriate. What do I mean? It's very difficult if we are constantly, thank you to other people who are joining. I'm going to pause and say hello to Denise. It's important to understand, guys, okay? And this, I'm talking more to my ladies than to my men, and not because I'm prejudiced, but because we know the physiochemistry and the makeup of a female versus a male is definitely different. So in particular, this is addressed to the ladies, okay? So let's talk again. Here we are, constantly submerged and exposed, always on the surface, to the bombardment of social media. Our friends, our family, world news, local news. It's already been proven that when people go on to Facebook, and again, I'm working from a scientific perspective now. So we're not just talking pie in the sky, okay? We're talking real. When people are on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, you name it, their blood pressure elevates, anxiety is found in the form of those knots in your stomach, sweat, the heartbeat faster. Can you make a comment on that, whoever's just joined us? And if you're watching in the replay, how do you really feel when you're on social media? There's this low boil anxiety. So no, we're not here on the stress meter, but we're like here, always ready to blow. And so are our kids. So let's really clarify this. If we, as adults, are constantly in a low boil environment, then what might be considered normal stress, we will have an inappropriate reaction to it. Example, your child fails a test, but in your brain, this is on the same level as an emergency room visit. Do you see what I mean? It's not you. It's not you. And I know that there are those of you out there who feel exactly the same way I do. There's something, danger, danger, danger. What the hell, right? I'm a normal human being. I failed when I was a kid. I was rejected by a girl or a boy. I had to do assignments repeatedly from scratch. Why is it that there's something in me that's causing me to have this inappropriate reaction that's a DEFCON level? And as a result of the reaction, I want to make it better. Can I get a thumbs up on that? I'm a parent. I want to make it better. I want to fix it like we were talking about before. And between you and me, I'm going to get up close. I want to make it go away. Why? Because my life will be easier. Come on. Anybody out there who have little kids? Isn't it easier to tie their shoes than to have them tie them themselves? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Get a little love. Get a thumb up there. Absolutely. Of course it's easier. But oh my God, I start to think about this like nightmarish vision of me following around my 20-year-old tying his shoes. And guys, we might be laughing about this, but I don't know if you saw in the news the other day, in fact, it was yesterday, and I'll post the link later down below, of the 30-year-old man who's living at home, whose parents had to get the courts involved to have him evicted. And believe it or not, just to show you what a state our general society is in, somebody actually came on a talk show last night in defense of this 30-year-old man, not only that the parents should be chastised, but actually coined him as a child. A 30-year-old man is a child? So, folks, once we understand the why and how we kick into that flight or fight, we can settle down, use some tools for ourselves. We'll talk about that in another video as well. And get back to a semblance of adulting / parenting. So what is the ultimate goal when we're faced with a child's negativity, upset, fright, anxiety? The goal is, let's say it again, acknowledge and give them the tools to move through it. No avoidance. We don't want to fix it. We don't want to make it better. And if you'll pardon the phrase that I've coined, we want them to sit in the shit. I'm sorry. But it's nice and neat, and it's the truth. Okay? So, now that we understand from a brain's perspective what is actually happening to us as parents, we can feel more confident that this reaction is inappropriate. Let's save those reactions of fix it, make it better for emergencies. And really, what are emergencies? Think about it. Can you share some emergencies? Can anybody share in the replay, even in the comments? What are some emergencies? Obviously, medical ones. Obviously, trauma. Those are appropriate, swift reactions. That's an appropriate expectation. But if my child doesn't make the basketball team, first of all, my inappropriate reaction, which we said, right, in this brain state, which is either flight or fight, I'm only serving to make things worse. You see, the ultimate irony is that in our desire to protect, in our desire to fix, to make things better, because it kills us to see our child hurting, any kind of hurting, we are actually doing harm. So, maybe you know this already. But for those of you who don't, and let me tell you something, I'm involved in cognition and neuroscience all day long. I work with parents, I work with children, students, my own kid, right? Right? How many of you on here are teachers and you've got students? Or you're doctors, right? How different is the mother-child dynamic? Obviously, right? So, I just want to leave you with this thought. Did you die from disappointment? Did you die from upset, from anger, from failure? Did you die from rejection? No, you didn't. Did it feel like you wanted to die? Absolutely. But there is a distinct difference. And so in our next video, we'll address how we can impart this information to our children and then give them the tools. And we talked about it just briefly. So a little sneak, acknowledge, and then give them the tools. So now, I hope tonight, or the next time, which I'm sure will be very soon, God bless all of your kids, right? There's the only thing constant about childhood is change. Does anybody agree with me? The only thing constant about childhood is change. Can I get a thumbs up on that? Okay? So, now that you have some idea, oh, this is what's happening to me. It's not something I can help. Annette is telling me factually that there are things that have been altered in my brain as a result of my exposure to social media and technology. The world is on top of me. I can't breathe. Let me find a way to get back to adulting and parenting wisely so that I can explain, not in a direct way, but with modeling, demonstrating, being an example to my child, that it's okay to feel like shit. But, and that's the big B-U-T, you're not going to die from it. And that is what's happening in our brain. Okay? Anyway, that's my piece for today. I hope that gives you a little bit of insight, a little bit of something that bolsters your confidence. You're doing a great job. It's tough being a parent in these days. We all know that. And I'm so glad for people like you that give me a platform to share what I've learned and hopefully help somebody out tonight when they're going and dinner needs to be made and the kids need to be looked after and somebody needs to do their homework. Take a breath, sit back and say, oh, I know why I'm reacting this way. And knowing is 3/4 of the battle. Acknowledging is 3/4 of the battle. When we live in denial, well, if any of you have any friends that are struggling with addiction or mental issues, those who are in denial are the hardest people to help, because it's very hard to face the nasty. But we must exercise this emotional intelligence or emotional IQ, and we'll delve more into that in another video. What does that mean, right? What the hell is that? But it's a muscle, and it must be exercised. Okay? So everyone, thank you so much. Love to you all. And please, if you're watching in the replay, feel free to leave some comments below. And let me know what you'd love to see in the next video. Take care for now. Have a great day.